Grand Rising Elizabeth. Today is Friday. Wonderful Passion and Purpose Friday. It is the 23rd of August. And I am your host, Queen Aduni, and my partner is Lolly Mariah Plus. And the plus is the little girl that's inside. Oh,
Oh, wow.
wow, is it much bigger than that? That's, I wasn't expecting that. Gosh, it's so big. It's so big. And yeah, so we know that life is growing inside of you, and that's wonderful. Uh, the miracles of birthing and the miracles of women,
Yes.
woman, the female. What would life be without us? Boring.
Yes, very.
Or would
When
it even be?
Very.
Would it even be? We're the ones that we are the channel that it comes through, that life comes through, and that is freaking amazing. My special guest, who has been here before, and she's a new person. All of us are new. Every moment, every second, we are new, and she's got some new stuff that she's doing, and I wanted her to share with us. Um, Goddess Aldonna Smith, and I'm just always her office. I mean, she lives right behind my salon. We're in the same building, and so every so often I'll look out, and she's walking past. Sometimes I'll run and
Yeah.
flag her down, and sometimes I just watch her go on about her life. So welcome, welcome, Aldonna, Goddess. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. What article, where was that article?
In the Detroit Native Sun.
Okay.
I've been doing an article for them probably about 7 or 8 years or more. With them about the goddess, waking to their God self, to
Mm-hmm.
who created them to be.
Mhm.
It's so important, especially now. So important.
Yeah.
So I'm on this mission to connect women to the spirit, to inspire them to go into the spirit, to build that intimate relationship with the creator,
Mhm.
because God is living inside of us. And God has a plan
Mm-hmm.
and a system for this, you know. And so it's important that we get plugged in
Mm-hmm.
so we can be all that we came to be and know all that we came here to know. Mhm.
That's it. That's it.
Yep.
And
That's
I love what you're doing, connecting people to their purpose, inspiring them to fulfill their purpose, because the goal is to know thyself,
it. Mm-hmm.
to know who you are. And if you don't know who you are, then you don't exist.
Mhm.
You don't exist. You're what did I say? You're a physical manifestation of what the world has created, what the world around you have created, who everybody told you you were,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and who you was to be. And so when you're being who the world told you to be, in essence, you're a lost soul,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
because your soul is lost. Your
Mhm.
soul is not fully expressing itself.
Mhm.
You know, um, everything that we do and that we learn is preparing us. It's like a step-by-step journey. It's like every job that I had, everything that I experienced has been leading me to this moment.
Yeah.
Uh, refining my gifts, so to speak. As a child, I used to write. Our goal is to do what we desire to do. What is it that I desire? You know, like we was talking earlier, I desire to write right now. That's what I'm feeling right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to write. I'm not thinking about becoming a writer. I'm just desiring to write as a child. So I
Mm-hmm.
write. You know, it's like when you have a, you know, I say God will grant you the desires of your heart. Why will God grant you the desires of your heart? Because God put them there.
You're right.
Mm.
You think that would be a cruel thing for God to put desires in you and say, nah, 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 you can't have this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's
Right.
true.
Right. That doesn't make sense.
Yep, I'm craving this something to do and I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Do something I don't want to do. You know what I'm saying? So if you're craving something and when you have that craving, it don't go away.
Mm-mm.
I didn't choose to be a designer or a writer or a photographer. I was that. And when I choose to express that, that's how everything evolved. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's a feeling that don't go away. You know, I want to write. And you go and write. Oh, I want to take some pictures. Well, what kind of pictures do I want to take? Oh, I want to take pictures of women, spiritual pictures. Okay, let me try that. One of the biggest issues with people, I've talked to people, is that they're afraid to mess up.
Yeah.
I was in counseling with this young lady, doing a Godis counseling session with her, and she was telling me, first of all, she showed me a book full of fashion designs that she designed. And her mother brought her a sewing machine for Christmas. And she wouldn't use it because she was afraid she was going to mess up fabric. I was like, wow. You know, her mother gave her the means to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And she would dress, you know, she was very stylish and eclectic in her um, fashion choices. And when she go out, people would be, oh, I like that. Oh, I like what you got on. But the things she wanted to make, she was afraid to. And so I told her, you know, you're a lost soul, you know, and your soul wants to express itself through fashion. And what a gift that you have to give the women when you do that, when you honor what it is that your soul wants to express.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that is a gift from God. The God in you wants to express itself in that way. So why would you deny that? And so the last time I seen her, she was designing, and she had
Yeah.
on her design.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah. I talked to a woman. She was a lawyer at a New Year's gathering, and she was just drinking and drinking, and she cried as she was telling me that her family wanted her. She came from a large family, and they sacrificed for her to go to college, and they encouraged her to go into law. And they said, "Oh, you're gonna make good money. You'll go into law." And she was a lawyer, and she hated it.
Mm-hmm.
And she wake up, she hated it. And she
Mm-hmm.
said she wanted to own an art gallery, that she was interested in art. And she said she couldn't tell her parents that she didn't want to be a lawyer. So she became an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
Because what's the saying? I die daily. She was dying inside. The part of her that wanted to to express
I'm
it.
alive. Yeah.
When you doing that thing that you love to do, you feel most alive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and life is not a journey without, it's a journey within. It really is. It's a journey within. You know things you don't even know you know. You can do things you don't even know you can do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, you know, I'm in awe sometimes at the things that come to me to do. And I stand back and I sometimes when I create something, tears come to my eyes because I get to know what God experienced when He created us.
Mm-hmm.
That feeling of having a thought and bringing that thought into physical manifestation. That's power. That's God given power. That's living in the image and likeness of God. What is God? God is a creator. When you get connected to the source, you can't help but create. You can't help it because the creator is living inside of you. And if the creator is living inside of you and you create in this image, what you going to do? You're going to create.
Right.
And if you're not creating, that means you're not connected.
Mm-hmm.
If you're sitting around talking about stuff that's not creative or productive,
Right.
then what are you doing?
Mm. Hmm.
So I'm about let's make something happen. I don't I don't want to talk to people or be around people that's not manifestors, that's not creating anything.
Mm-hmm.
A lady told me one time, she said, you should never drink water that's standing still, because water that's standing still is toxic. And so if we made of water and we're standing still, then that means in our
Toxic.
minds we're toxic.
Wow.
We're having toxic conversation with ourselves.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So when you meet people, I say, what are you doing? What you got up? In other words, what you create, what you got going on. And if you want to sit and gossip and talk about who's wearing what and that, you're not creating.
Mm-hmm.
You're standing still. So I don't have a lot to say because in your world, the creator is not awake. You sleeping. You
Mm-hmm.
standing still. So um, especially now, um, a lot of people, I don't say a lot of people, but people are waking up, I think.
Yeah.
There's a lot of information out there. And my goal is to, what I'm gonna say, my goal is to express what God wants to express through me. And when people see the things that I'm able to do, they know that it's things in them that they can do that's just as powerful.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
know,
it's like you give them permission to be themselves.
exactly.
When people see you doing you, it's like, oh, wow, let me
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah. I didn't want to be different. I've always been different. For a long time, I was afraid to express my difference,
Mm-hmm.
express that part of me. you know, the family members, and when I was making the garments with the wings and the hoods and just the things you seen, people was like, that's not gonna sell. I said, I didn't make it to sell it. I made it because it made me happy to make it.
Mm-hmm.
I, I didn't know what I was gonna do with it.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody going to no party with no hood and no wings in their garment like that. I know, but this is what I want to do. I'm talking 10 yards of fabric. So, and when I started taking the photography, when the spirit told me to take pictures of women with their eyes closed, I fought that for probably about 7 or 8 years because I knew nothing about photography. I already had a fabric habit that was costing me money. And my husband at the time said, well, photography is expensive. So I just put that on the back burner.
Mm-hmm.
But the craving and desire never went away. It got stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Until one day I said, okay, God, okay, I'm gonna do it. Now I don't know what this gonna look like. I'm gonna wrap some women in some fabric and I'm gonna take a picture with their eyes closed. And then God said, well, have them relax, help them to relax so they can get a really, peaceful picture. And I said, okay. I followed instructions. And then once I looked at it, I was like, wow, this is deep. I like this.
And that's what everybody who sees your work says. This is deep,
Mm-hmm.
magical.
Yeah,
Yes, truly.
because what I learned is that, when I'm doing a picture with a woman, it's important that she don't think. When you think, you get them lines in your forehead, them lines like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Lines. That's, you think it and your face tightens up and it tenses up. Babies, when they're asleep, because babies are not thinking, they look like angels.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You know, they're just being. And so if I can get a woman to just be, just relax her body, relax her mind, and just be in the nothingness or be in the presence of God. Call on the presence of God and create in your mind a beautiful place in nature and just bathe in that place. Feel the love in that place and just be in that place. And if I can get her to hold that image and that thought, eventually the body will say, okay, this is what we doing. It's going to fight it for a minute. It's going to be like, what we eating for dinner? Oh, this is stupid. She got me sitting up here. I said, you're going to have all them resistors. But when you set your intention and you're what's the word? You're saying inside yourself, no, this is what we're doing because you control your mind. Your mind does not control you.
Mhm.
Most people think that, and I thought that for a long time because I had monkey mind. My mind was all over the place. I couldn't even sleep at night in my 20s because I was so busy worrying about everything and thinking about everything. The most beautiful thing I ever did was start meditating because it allowed me to clear my mind. And so when I cleared my mind, and that's when creation comes through. What it says in the Bible, be still and know that I am God.
Mhm.
So it's in the stillness that you connect with God. When I'm creating a garment, I touch the fabric. I keep touching it. I'm touching it, and my goal is to get quiet so I can hear and so I can see. Because God will send me a vision. I'll see a shape and I'll be like, okay, that's the shape we're doing. Okay. And I'll wait and they'll say, okay, we're gonna layer this like this. And things will just start unfolding as to how I should put that garment together. I don't know what the garment gonna look like. I don't know what I'm doing. I just know what I'm told to do.
Mhm.
That's the difference.
Mm.
So you got to be able to take direction from the spirit, you know, submit to the spirit. And that's the realm of magic.
Mm.
Absolutely.
I can't think. I can't think. I got to get out the way.
Mhm.
You know, and creativity to me is like an onion. You know how onion has all them layers. And you know yourself, Sheila, every time you sing or every time you create a song, you get better and better, right? So you're going deeper and deeper into yourself,
Mhm.
you know. And so this whole thing of process of creation is deep. There's levels to it. So every time I create, I'm going deeper and deeper into myself. And it's like Wayne Dyer talked about throwing the pebble in the water. He said, if you throw a pebble in the water, the deeper the pebble goes in the water, the bigger the ripples get on the surface.
Mhm.
So the deeper that we go into the land of creation within ourselves, the deeper the things we do and get, and the more powerful they are in the world. That's why, like Michael Jackson, Prince, these people that are legends, they went deep with what they was doing. They became masters of what they're doing. They went to master level, you know, and they became masters walking the earth, masters of music, masters of writing. You can't be out here in the superficial world, it's illusion, and become a master unless you're born a master, unless you come onto the planet because you mastered in another lifetime.
Mhm.
But if you're a master in this lifetime, you got to shut all that superficial stuff out and focus on your craft, on what you came to express, and take it to another level. And that's what people are looking for. They're always looking for the next level. And we
Mm.
all people, but you got to put the time in. You got to be totally invested and committed to your craft in order to do it, to make a noise that the world ain't never heard. And my goal is I want to take you someplace you've never been. I want to show you something you never seen. That's my goal. When I do a stage performance, when I'm creating something,
Mhm. Yeah.
and you know, because the thing about this world is that we're looping. We're going in a loop. People keep creating the same thing. While humanity is waiting for somebody to do something different, do something new. But you got to be true and authentic to who you are. The most important question that you can ever ask is, God, who am I and why am I here? If you walk in a room, you want to know you walked in there with intention. I went in there, like you might say, I'm going in here to get my charger. So you're gonna go in there and you're gonna go pick up your charger. But we came onto the planet for what reason? What we doing here? That's what we want to know. And because God answers our prayers, when you ask, you will find out what that thing is that you came to do.
Mm.
And it's the only way that you can be whole and complete within yourself. I feel more love in my heart than I've ever felt in my life. because I live in the vibration of love. Because God is love and God is awake and inside of me, creating through me. So I can't help but feel love. So much love, I want to give it away. You know, take some of this. My goal right now, I'm almost 70 years old, is to give away what God has given me, to give it away to the world. And that's why I'm so thankful, Sheila, of the opportunity to perform at your event. I really am. I see it as a blessing because I get to share my gift. What good is it if I'm going to sit here and look at it in my loft? But to be able to go out and say to people, look, this is what I'm doing. This is where I've been on my journey, right?
Right.
And what's interesting, even how we know that art is so important and creativity is so important, you know, and it says to the world, I was here. I saw and I gave.
Yeah.
You know, I found myself and I gave. I gave it away.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like completion, right? When the tsunami came in New Orleans, the most important thing that people wasn't worried about their car, clothes, nothing like that. They were worried about their pictures, their family pictures, certificates and stuff like that. That was like once they knew their family was safe. It was about the artwork. It was about the pictures. I lived, I exist, see, you know, because if I have to leave out of here, I'm taking my sewing machine and my camera.
Yeah, that's what I say. I taking my computer.
That's right. My computer too. My computer. They say grab. You can only grab a few things. I said, okay, I got my sewing machine under my arm, and yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if I had to go in the shelter, tell me where the plug is, because I'm
Right.
I need to
I'm gonna park right here.
be creating. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I told my children, I said, look, if I get, you know, old and you have to put me in a nursing home, I said, find some place that love old people. Number one, pray and ask God, where do they love old people and treat them good and put me there. And we'll be in there quilting, finger painting. We'll be in there doing something.
Yeah.
That's what you're gonna find me in the community room.
Mhm.
Evelyn probably wake up every day and create. I know she do because she's a artist.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I told my son, I said, look, if something like that happened and I get kind of senile, whatever, I said, I just just sit me somewhere, give me a computer,
Mm-hmm.
and then and give me a project. It don't even have to be real. Just say, Mama, we need a fashion show, and just let me do my thing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm telling you now what to do, how to deal with me, where I will be at peace. You know,
Yeah.
and just even if you never do it, just put me there, give me a computer, some paper. I'll be in my world.
Yeah.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
told my kids, you know, and just come back from time to time and say, Mama, guess what I'm doing? I'm doing this. Really? I want to know what you're doing with the life, the gift of life you've been given. I don't want you to just be every 4 hours here, Ma, take this pill, here, Ma. No, don't do that. It's people that do that. You know, go live your life, your best life, and you come back and tell me what you did,
Mhm.
what you're creating in your life, what you're manifesting in your life. Tell me that. People will tell me that they're not creative. I said, who, I mean, didn't you put that outfit on today? Put that on. Who put that together? Who did that? Who chose that hairstyle? You did. You're a creator. Who
Mhm.
arranged the living room, furniture in the living room? I did. You're a creator.
Yeah. Yeah.
You decide every day what your kids gonna wear, what they're gonna eat for dinner.
Yeah.
All that is
Right.
creative. You're a creator. Stop saying that,
Mm.
right?
Grand Rising, Lakeisha and Sharonda. Grand Rising. Lolly, you want to chime in?
Grand
Yeah,
Rising.
I do actually. I had a couple questions I wanted to ask. Um, so my baby shower is coming up, and the theme for the baby shower is Goddess Gardens. And
Mm,
so I was explaining maybe a week or so ago that I had, most people were just like, "Oh, that's cute," and then some people had a little had a little feeling about the thought of using goddess, the term goddess. So I
Yeah.
kind of went a little bit on like, well, ask you about, kind of get your insight on one, for you, what does goddess mean? And then also, how does that relate to creation and purpose?
Mm, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful question. You know, it's really interesting. One of the reasons why I needed to do the paper was there are women who say, well, I'm a goddess, and they have their own interpretation of what that is to them. You know, the goddess to me is about understanding that you came from the mind of God and that you are a daughter of God. You didn't come from your parents, you came through them. You know, they provided the physical vehicle for your body and your life story, but you're actually a physical manifestation created by God. And it even said so when they talked in the Bible, and he said, I knew you before I placed you in your mother's womb. And it says that we're co-creators with God. So what does that mean? If I create something with Evelyn, that means we in on this together. So your life journey, you were in on it with God. You had a conversation with God, and you said, I as a spirit being want to take on a human experience, God. And God said, okay. So there were certain lessons you came down here to learn. There are certain parents you had to be born through so that you can have a story that you needed to evolve out of. And see, people don't understand that, especially Christians. They get scared when you say the word goddess. They think that you're worshiping a deity. I know nothing about that. I can only tell you what God told me about the goddess. I didn't learn anything outside of myself about what the goddess was. I was married for 23 years and I had everything physical that I could buy. And I was miserable inside. I was unhappy and I couldn't tell nobody. I would wake up and be mad because I woke up. I wanted to die in my sleep because I had unresolved issues in my spirit, things that I was still angry about from childhood. And I had a man who loved me. I had new cars in the driveway, a home beautifully decorated. I traveled. I had a business. I never knew what it was like to pay a bill because my husband paid all the bills. But I was unhappy. And I couldn't express that to people. When I tried to, they got mad at me. And I said, this is what life is all about. And so when I began to talk to God, God told me about the goddess. That's how I came to know about her. And that's what I'm talking to people about. It's the feminine expression of God. It's God expressing himself, herself through women, the creator. So you can say it's in the dictionary, what you could say to people. In the dictionary, it says a goddess is a woman of divine beauty. You can say that, a spiritual beauty. And that's what you're talking about when you talk about the goddess. And I have a writing that says, what is a goddess? A goddess is a woman who embodies the spirit of love. She walks in divine faith and she lives in the peace and love of God. Her heart's desire is just to do the will of God, to be an instrument of divine love. To be a goddess is not a religion, it's a state of being. It is a movement and an awakening of the Spirit of Christ in the hearts and minds of women. It is women in touch with their creative and spiritual gifts, empowered with a vision to use those gifts to co-create with God a new world. To be a goddess is to always and in all things to remember love. That's what
I love that.
That's what
I love that.
Yeah, it's to remember love. See, the planet right now is out of balance because the masculine energy is dominating the planet and they're suppressing the feminine energy. They're suppressing the feminine aspect of God. They're telling women to be quiet and they can't be in the pulpit in church. And, you know, even when you look in the Bible, it's not a lot about the woman. You know, the woman is in the background. And how is that so? When we bring life into the planet, and when you have a child, every waking moment you're telling the child, you know, sit down, eat your food, put this on. I mean, you're creating this life, you're shaping and forming this human being, but you don't have any power. When in essence, you holding the most power.
Mm-hmm.
We create and we collapse worlds based on our ability to love. That's my perspective. You know, I worked with high school students. I did peer counseling groups with high school students, you know, teaching them how to resolve issues within themselves, within their lives, you know, peer counseling each other. I worked with a program called 12 Together for like 8 years, and we dealt with troubled youth. I've been in homeless shelters, you know, talking to women that have been abused, you know, by men. And why was I saying that? I was saying that for a reason. I forget why I was saying that. I was going somewhere with that. But women, a lot of women think that love is weakness. And so they get into the masculine energy. I hear women always talking about kicking somebody's behind. And they like that, you know, oh, I cussed her out, or I did that. When you have the creator awaken you and you are channeling that frequency and that energy, you may say things in that situation that you would have never thought of saying. You know, I was working with the program 12 Together, and we was doing a Catherine Ferguson High School. We had, which was a school for pregnant girls. There's 500 girls in this school, and some of them had their babies. They had nurseries in there, so the girls that had their babies can bring them. But the girls weren't getting along. It was a lot of depression and postpartum. So they wanted us to come in our program and do peer counseling with these girls. So we had to take them in the wilderness, I'm gonna say, because we went on a camping trip where you had to go to the bathroom in an outhouse.
Mm.
And so we had these primitive camping grounds, and then we have the main room where everybody meets together, and we talk to them in General Assembly. And the girls were giving us a hard time. And I was a new facilitator. I was new to the program at this time. So the girls, because they were angry because we didn't know it was Sweetest Day weekend, they wanted to be with their baby daddies. They didn't want to come. Principal said, you don't come, you kicked out. So they came. And so we had to break up arguments. There was a lot of tension in the air. And the girls, after we had General Assembly, they had to get into their individual groups. And so I was telling some young ladies that was standing, you know, in the middle of the room that they had to go and get into their groups. And as I turned around, the girl said, I'm not studying that BITCH, referring to me. And the girls was like, ooh. And I turned around when I heard her say that. And I walked over to her and I smiled and I said to her, I said, baby, I am so sorry that you cannot see in me the beauty that I see in you. And that just broke her face. She just cried. And the girls carried her off to the bathroom or wherever. And when she came back, she apologized to me. But all my coworkers were arguing with the girls. You know, well, we gonna take this and you don't disrespect me. But you know, that girl was my helper that whole weekend. I said, you could, you know, but God gave me that. Because I wasn't mad at her. I wasn't gonna get mad at her. I understood, you know, because that man was their source of love. That's their source of love. So we denied them. And so women seek love outside of themselves. I had a man tell me one time, he said, I know what you need love. And I said, no, I am love. I am that. That's why I'm glad to be the age that I am and know what I know. You know what I'm talking about, Sheila. I'm glad that I know what I know.
Absolutely.
And Godis is our woman of wisdom. And I don't know if you know it. What's your name, sweetie?
Lolly.
Lolly. I don't know if you noticed, but at one time, God was feminine, was seen as a feminine entity.
Mm-hmm.
And then it became masculine. If you do research, and a lot of the witch hunts were really about silencing the goddess. I mean,
Yes.
we delivered babies. We were, God would direct us if somebody was sick to go in the woods and find the medicine. And when they showed the witches with the big pots burning on the stove, that was herbs. That was herbs. So, you know, and our thing was about creating community and making sure everybody had what they needed. And the men worked whatever the women said was needed. We need a house, they would go out and build, because it was about building communities and families and stuff like that. And then they didn't want women to be the goddess and have that connection to God. And so they start killing them, you know, telling them they're witches, they're evil, and killing them just like they do today. Whenever they start labeling people, you know, it's like they kill you in the spirit first, you know, kill your character, kill your spirit, and then sometimes they physically come after you. That's the process. So this may be your opportunity to educate people. You know, people are just showing their ignorance and their limited thinking because, you know, they're running programs created by this world. But evidently in your thinking, you have moved beyond what this world has created, and you're expressing your inner truth. And you get to do that, because if you're not expressing your inner truth, you're not free. You're in bondage. And you want to get free. Your soul wants to be free. And you say, this is what I'm doing. If you don't want to come, that's up to you. And you can tell them at the shower what the goddess is to you. So I don't know what some other people are doing, but let me tell you what I'm doing in my world, what I'm creating in my world. Mm-hmm. See, we all are a universe unto ourselves. I'm a world within myself. If I open my door and let you in here, I'm letting you into my world. I have my own world that I live in, and you get to experience that. But most people are living in the world that man created. I'm living in the world that God created for me. I don't let all that other stuff in. And if somebody say, you know, what you doing, this and that, I'll share with them. And if you don't agree with it, that's okay. You get to live in your world, and I get to live in mine. See how that works? I think I mentioned this before. When I was in kindergarten, my first day of kindergarten, the teacher told us to draw a box around us, an invisible box. And she said, now I want you to stand up, and I want you to jump in that box. I want you to touch your nose in that box. She said, you can do whatever you want in that box, but just don't go in nobody else's. Right? When I got to be a teenager, I would, you know, go places like to the mall with my friends. And I was like, oh, I like them shoes. You know how people say, you gonna buy them shoes? You gonna buy them shoes? I'd be like, girl, get out my box. You out of your box. You know, so in my world, in my universe, I can do what I want to do. And I get to be who I want to be. Because if you start compromising who you are, then you can't fully manifest who you are. You can't truly come into the physical manifestation of yourself, an expression of yourself. If you start changing things to make other people uncomfortable. You see what I'm saying? If you start accommodating people.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes to fulfill your purpose, that's why they say the road is narrow sometimes. Because the people close in your life say, what you doing? See, my family member, they think I'm weird and crazy. Something wrong with her. How much your goddess got that stuff on her forehead and stuff like that. Okay, that's fine. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
When we went on that retreat, Sheila, with Donna, that's what Donna told me. Remember when we had the intercessory prayer?
Yeah.
The burden that I was carrying was that God was calling me in my spirit. I had started my spiritual, you know, reconnection actually with the creator. And God was telling me, because I was going in clubs commentating, to use my voice to elevate people and not to distract them with entertainment. Just entertain them. And if I was going to entertain people, use my ability to entertain people to elevate them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I didn't feel worthy of that, because I felt I was different. I wasn't the norm, how I dressed, my approach, and everything else. And I was afraid that people was going to reject me. And then Sheila went into prayer because she didn't know. I mean, Donna went into prayer. You and her, I think, went into prayer. And she came back and told me, she said, "You're afraid for God to use you because you're different." She said, "Your difference is what God wants to use." That was what I came to get.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was not at peace. I said, I can't talk about the guys, the people, these Christians out here, they gonna lynch me.
Uh-huh.
I can't do that. And a couple of them did. A couple of pastors came for me. But you know what was so beautiful was that after doing it for so many years, I actually got invited to 2 churches to do a goddess presentation. And the pastor came down after the models dressed and did a prayer and told me that what I was doing was going to be worldwide. Mm-hmm. And this was a male, and then a woman told me, a woman pastor, I came and did it, and she said, "I know you didn't do this. I know that God is doing this through you. I can look at it, I can feel it, I can see it." To be in a church, actually, there's 3 churches I did. Mm-hmm. From being scared, the Christians gonna lynch me, to actually coming out of the pulpit as the goddess. Mm-hmm. Can you believe that? I was like, what? This is deep. Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
So the thing is, people say they love God and they trust God, but do you trust God's plan for your life? That's the question. Do you trust God's plan for your life? And what's deep about it, I've come to understand, if you study astrology, if you have the time that you were born, the exact time you were born, you can access your records, your birth records, through having a chart made, and it will tell you what you come into this life to overcome, the areas that you need to transform and heal, and some of the things that you'll be going through in your life. So God has left you a record, because when you come into this physical world, you forget. So he's left something here for you to know and to see. The plan. And somebody told me, to not want to know your birth chart is to not want to know who you are. And see, when I was a kid, on our birth certificate, it used to have the time. I remember seeing the time. And then when I got grown and I went to ask, I didn't see the time on it no more. And a lot of hospitals, they don't do it. They don't put the exact time. It's important.
They didn't, it's not on mine as well, the time.
Yeah, you need the time, because other than that, you have to guess or ask your mother, what time was I born? And they can give you a roundabout time. Mm-hmm. Some people can kind of figure out close to it, but if you have the exact time, and see, the powers that be on the dark side, they know who you are when you're born, because they understand the science of God. They understand. They know. All they got to do is know your birth date and pull your chart, and they know exactly what you come to do and who you are when you don't even know. That's what's deep. And numerology helped me too. If you study numerology, it's adding your birthday all the way across. I'm an 11. 11 is a master number. 11 is the messenger. I was like, wow.
So am I.
Huh?
So am I.
Yeah, that's the spirit.
I'm an 11.
Yes, that's a master number. It's only 3 master numbers. What is it, 22? And it's another one, I think it's 30, 33 or something. But those are master numbers. And when you're a master number, it means you're an old soul. You've been doing this thing, coming back and forth off this planet for a while. Yeah. And usually 11s, they end up doing something that has.
Then, ooh,
I lost my girl.
yes, right when she was saying something we needed to hear. Okay, I'll hear till she come back because I want to hear what that was. Because you ain't stopping nothing. Wow, 'cause this is so apropos to what we were talking about, of course, in Miracles last night. Oh my God. I mean, it's like right the same course, exact same course.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, now we lost
Sharonda.
Rhonda. It's all right, they'll be back.
Yep. Yep.
They'll be back. Oh, it's almost over anyway.
Yeah.
We don't have power over here in this complex, the buildings.
Okay.
But thank God, my computer, it'll work with it's nice and charged up and stuff, really good.
Okay.
Um, and then I have my my link, for my phone,
Yeah.
get online. Yeah.
Yeah. Me too. Um, I hope she come back because she said something
Oh,
here.
I hope she ain't well, she should know that she's not on. Let me call her.
Hmm. I really
Meanwhile,
want.
what's going on this weekend? Well,
Well, tomorrow is the Temple of I Am and a health fair, and Sunday is Hug Detroit.
yeah, baby, we's getting ready.
Hug Detroit, yes.
Mm-hmm. What's her name? Godis.
Isn't that funny how that happened? Because it was something we needed to hear, and it just, yeah, not stopping nothing.
Why is it not Godis? No results. Are you kidding?
Really? Let me try her. Ooh. Mm. God, it's Aldonna.
Okay, I'm calling her.
There she go.
Okay. Mm-mm-mm.
I need a new phone because I'm touching and it's not, yeah, it's acting crazy.
So while she's coming on, those who weren't on, if you did not hear Kamala Harris speak last night, please do. If you want to know who she is, please do. She speaks from her heart. She's gonna tell you why she thinks the way she does, and to give you, assurance of okay, and that all we have to do, which is what I was talking about, I think Monday, is all we have to do is do our part.
Mm-hmm.
Is really do our part. Just go all in to make it work. And she really explained or shared her opponents, why he does the way he does, his personality and all that. Because, like she said, I know his type. I've dealt with his type, but why? Like Mama Head used to always say, I always have to ask this. When you were a little girl, right? What did you think? How did you do this and that and the other?
Yeah.
And so you'll hear that. So I encourage each and every one of you. And I'm going to ask you again, did you listen to her? Because it's like Goddess Aldonna is speaking from her heart about who she is and her experience. That's what Kamala does. And then she goes deep in, like the stance of the position that she has and what she has been doing. And then she'll, then personality and laughs and all that kind of stuff. So please check her out. Aldonna, you were saying something that got cut right off and
Yeah, I ran out of gas. No, you know what? I didn't know my thing was so low. My battery was low.
yeah.
And so so I apologize, lady. Yeah.
Do you remember what you were about to say? Because I was leaning in and
Hanging
then
on that.
No, I don't know. Yeah.
oh,
But it's been a joy having you again.
Honored and I thank you, ladies. I thank you for showing up and for having me. I really do. I appreciate you.
mhm.
yes.
And we're gonna talk because I definitely want you to be part of what's going down at the shop, especially since all you had to do was walk down the steps and be there. But on Sundays, there'll be one of the things is body, soul, and spirit. I would love for you to talk to you about that with Nawili. Do you know what Nawili?
No, never heard.
Okay, well, she does like meditation and she does, in particular, she does yoga with the mixture. She ranged from Michael Beckwith Ministry.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, so that is where a lot of her teaching comes from there, and
I met her. She from California?
yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we had a wonderful conversation. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, I text her some of my articles.
Yes.
Beautiful lady. She has locks. I can remember.
Yes. Uh-huh.
We talked. Yes.
Yeah. And so body, soul, and spirit is about being responsible for your own soul, your own spirit, and having these type of conversations. And along with the yoga, stretching, and the meditation, that's what we do on that particular Sunday. I would love for you to be part of that.
I would love to be a part of it because I'm doing my circles. I'm starting my circles back up in my loft in September. And one of the things the spirit told me is that this is not a social hour. This is not for us to be talking about anything outside. It's a time for us to bathe in the spirit, the light of the spirit. So meditation is going to be a big part of it. And doing our love notes, that's giving messages to each other that spirit is giving us to give to somebody, and doing some collective writing.
Yes. Oh, yes. I'm so happy. Let me know because I've been a part of that before. And I wanted to say I stood within the circle of women and felt the power of prayer on my life and in one of your circles. And it was phenomenal. It was.
I've been to like a couple of them. Yeah. So I'm going to start them back up. And it's about being present in the spirit. We have to, that's like a muscle. We so used to outside. I'm taking them within. We going in, ladies. That's
okay.
The world outside doesn't exist. And when we talk, we talking from the spirit. We're not talking from our mental self. We talking from the spiritual self.
Okay. Ooh, yes, I look forward to it. Yes.
All right, Lolly, what were you saying, honey? Aldonna?
I was just saying I would let Sheila, let the women know when I do my circle if they want to come.
Okay, wonderful. Lolly, you have any closing remarks?
Well, I'll just say this has been a wonderful dialogue, conversation. Some things to pull just to remember is, you know, this goddess figure is, we can be this goddess figure, but this goddess figure is someone who got worked through, who is wise, who is beautiful, who has that spiritual, vibrational ability to create and transform. And so remember that. And also walking in creation is living in our divine purpose, which
Yeah.
is so necessary, because we can't be stagnant. We got to keep pushing forward, keep walking, keep learning, keep growing, and really using those resources and those gifts and those desires that we have within us. So
Yeah.
that's what I pulled from today. And I just wanted
Yeah.
to repeat that out there for anyone who didn't catch everything, because it was a lot to
Love
catch.
it. I love
But
it. Peeling off layers. We peeling off layers. We've been buried, and we peeling layers off. That's what we do. We
yes, yes, yes.
we coming out. That's what we doing, right, sisters?
Yes.
Thank you. I love you.
Going out.
Want the world to know. Yeah.
Got to let it
It
show.
show. Give
Yeah.
yourselves a big, 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 great, great, big hug again. Hug Detroit is this Sunday, and it is going to be amazing. It already is. Give the whole world a hug, because they sure enough need it. Y'all need that big old great hug for the world, for the world, for the world, for the world. And then
Yeah.
so goodness and love and peace and happiness and joy and fun and delicious food and delicious music and all of that. And I love each and every one of you. There's nothing you can do about it. And I know you don't want to not to do something about me loving you, except yeah, love it, love seeing that belly. Love seeing the belly. And
Hold
have a
on, we'll give one more look before we go.
yeah.
One more look.
Hi, baby.
I'm touching it. So you have a wonderful event, baby shower Sunday, and hopefully we'll see you at the end. You'll be able to run over if you're not caught up with, you know, people hanging out afterwards and stuff. Yeah.
Where's it gonna be at, Sheila?
It's going to be on Shane and Ferry, and it's a horse show. I mean, a total horse show, like the circus.
Wow.
Yeah,
Can you send me that information?
I will.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So, peace out.
Peace out. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'll send you the flyer right now since I got you pulled up.
Oh, good. Thank you, babe.